Hi, Sally.
Hi, Tyler.
I'm so excited.
Hi, listeners. Welcome to our podcast.
A year ago today. It's a
I started
podcast.
to say party, and then I was like, wait.
Welcome to our party cast.
It's like, I don't think that's it. That's not the right word.
Sometimes it feels like a party. Today, it definitely feels like a party.
Yeah, totally. I'm very excited about it.
Me too.
Okay.
You and I both are just making breathing noises and trying to calm down.
It's a big day. It's a momentous occasion.
Yeah.
What's the best thing that happened to you since some time ago?
The best thing that happened to me is actually what is happening right now, because I'm going to tell the story, but I'll do it quickly. So I had the inspiration to email Chris Gethard because I knew it was coming up on the 1-year anniversary of his podcast, Beautiful Anonymous, right?
Which is a great podcast. Everyone should listen to it.
It's a great podcast.
Tripod.
And he's a great host. I really love, he's so on the side of his guests, and I really have appreciated that about him. So I was like, I'm going to email him and ask him to come on our podcast. And I was like, I'm going to email him I'm going to ask my friend Sebastian to pass along the email because he's in the comedy world, and obviously they all know each other. And Sebastian was like, I don't have his email. And I was like, that's okay. I'm gonna move ahead anyway. So I went to Chris Gethard's website and I found the person that you send the inquiries to, and I revised the email slightly and sent it. And didn't hear back. Then I had a dream where I talked to Chris Gethard and he said, yes, I'll come on the show. Mm-hmm. And I was like, am I going to hear back from these people or what? And I heard back from them, and the answer was no, that unfortunately he didn't have time. Mm-hmm. So I was a little disappointed because he would have been the first guy to come on. And I think he's really great. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So then I was talking to my friend Sebastian about this. And I was like, Sebastian, you really need to come on the podcast. Do you have any significant anniversaries coming up? And he was like, as a matter of fact, right about now, I have one. And then I started freaking out, and I was running around in circles in the living room and being so excited. And I was like, this is so much better than having Chris Gethard come on, because our first male guest gets to be my good friend Sebastian, who we're not going to introduce yet. Or are we? Do you have anything to talk about, Sally?
I did have something to talk about.
Okay. What's the best thing that's happened to you since we last recorded?
So I, a couple of days ago, went to the first Right Girl workshop. I started volunteering for them a couple of months ago, but I haven't been able to go to the monthly workshops. So this was my first one, and it was on blogging, advocacy, and marketing writing. So I was like, I do all of those things. This is the best workshop for me to go to. And then I ended up leading.
Those are 3 not necessarily topics that you would think would be together. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was called Convince Me, was the name of the workshop.
That's so smart and funny.
So I ended up being able to lead a session on blogging with, actually, surprisingly, I was supposed to lead it with somebody else, and then the thing got switched around, and I ended up doing it with somebody who I met a year ago at the Bustle meetup. When I used to write for Bustle, they had an LA meetup. And I met her there. And so it was really random because she's not a Right Girl volunteer. She works at the space where we were at. So that was pretty cool because then we got to catch up, and I think it's fun to know more people of color in LA. So it was cool. We just got to kind of hang out, and I got paired with a mentee. It was basically the best day ever because I got paired with a mentee, which sometimes you have to wait a while before you're paired with someone. So I got paired with someone at my first workshop. So that was really cool. And she's the best teenager I've ever met. And I got to see Kim because she's a volunteer. Kim, friend of the podcast. And so it was basically the very best day of, well, I was going to say of my whole life. That's probably not accurate, but it felt that way. And that night when I was home alone because Justin was working, then I was just crying tears of joy. I was like, my life is so amazing. It's the very best. How did I get here? I'm so excited. It was great.
So that's so funny. I know that feeling.
Yeah, it's great. That's it. That's my story. We can welcome Sebastian now if you want.
Okay. All right, so our guest this week is my friend Sebastian. Hi, Sebastian.
Hi, Sebastian.
Hey, what's up? How's everyone doing?
It sounded like you were like starting a stand-up set.
I had to make sure everyone knew I was here and I was ready to do it. I wanted to make sure my first intro line had a lot of energy.
Yeah,
it was really
good.
spot on.
Thanks.
Nailed it.
Thanks. That's awesome. I did listen to everything that you two just said, and when Tyler literally was jumping and running around, and it was in the morning. Was it in the morning or at night when that happened?
No, it was at night.
Oh yeah, I remember just being a little out of it. I think I was a little high, and
yeah, I think we were both a little high.
I was definitely like pretty chill on the couch. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do that. And you were running around. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I felt
literally
it internally.
Yeah, I said to Sebastian, I was like, are you serious? Because if you're serious, I'm going to let myself get really excited right now.
And I said, yeah. And then she let herself. Which is a sight to be seen. Everybody's gotta. If Tyler says, I'm gonna let myself get excited, everyone go, okay, I want you to get excited because it's gonna be fun.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so I think we should say, before we go any further, that Sebastian is one of my boyfriend Matt's best friends. So I always get jealous when they hang out without me.
Shut up. No way.
No, it's like I understand sometimes you guys need your space to just be, friends with each other. But
well, yeah, I've known Matt since I was like a little boy.
Yeah. And so, but I'm really excited now because now you're here just to hang out with me.
No, and that's so nice.
That's the first time we've ever hung out without Matt, I think.
I think so too. That's really nice.
Wow, that's amazing. And
other than sitting at the bar when Matt's bartending, that kind of counts.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we've definitely talked a lot. It's not like a lack of hanging out.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just...
I'm just glad you're here. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad I'm here too. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So should we officially start?
We should start.
All right.
All right. So Sebastian, I want to invite you to close your eyes.
Okay, I'm doing it.
And take a few deep breaths. And get, a little quieter inside. And think back to a year ago today. And all that you were thinking and feeling. And then when you're really immersed in that, share with us in one word how you feel.
I would say prepared.
Wow.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
That's
that was weird to do.
No, it's so funny. I had this moment. I just had this moment where I was like, oh my God. I was like, can boys do this?
Of course we can.
I know boys can do this. Matt does it all the time, but I just had this moment of like, oh my God, this is the first guy that we've ever really had on. And then my heart was like, calm down. Everything's fine.
I took it
and
really
then you
seriously.
said prepared.
I closed my eyes and I could hear nothing. And I just tried to think what I felt. And I thought prepared, and then I tried to fight it because I was like, that doesn't seem like the right word for this scenario. But then I said, why should I not say that word if that's what I thought of?
Yeah, I think that's a gorgeous word, and I'm excited to talk more about it. And I guess I'll tell everybody else what we're talking about. So a year ago today, or thereabouts, I didn't want Sebastian to look up the exact date because I was like, I don't really care when it happened. You're coming on the podcast. So approximately a year ago today, Sebastian, at the age of 26, moved out of his mom's house.
Yeah.
And dad's house.
And dad's. She runs that shit, though. Let's be honest.
So funny. I was like, I know it's just, we think of it as your mom's house, but yeah. So he moved out of his mom's house and officially moved in with his amazing girlfriend, Lindsay.
Which is exciting.
It was literally awesome. It was amazing to do. And I was like super ready to do that.
Yeah, prepared. So I want to know more about like how you were prepared. Because when you said that at first, I had a little bit of a sensation of like, you can be prepared and you could feel totally ready for something, or you can be kind of prepared in that I feel like you're bracing for something a little bit.
That's interesting, because I guess I felt a little bit of both, you know. Well, I guess I would want to start talking about like why I lived at home for so long.
Yeah.
And that was like a choice of mine. Obviously, it's a choice. And like living with your parents till that age isn't always the easiest choice, and it's not like the most glamorous choice. But I did that in order so I wouldn't have to get like a regular job, so I could just pursue like my art and like doing comedy and stuff like that. So that was like so important for me. So I spent so many years like having to like know that I was like sacrificing one part of my life in order to pursue this other part of my life. And so I spent years of like, I would go to the city to do shows and then have to like, before I had a car to drive back and forth, I would take the express bus back and forth, and that would be an hour and a half both ways. So sometimes I was traveling 3 hours to do 10 minutes of something.
Gosh, the links that we'll go to
for
our art.
Yeah.
I know. And it was like, and I remember like thinking like as I was doing that, like as I was waiting for the bus, or some nights I would like have to stand on the bus to go home because the bus would be so full. So I would stand for an hour and a half to get home. And like it was just, and I would have like a bad show. And I would just think one day this won't be. I'm like working hard, so one day I won't have to like do this. And so I guess I was like I sacrificed a lot so I could pursue comedy because I knew that was what was important to me. I also because before that I went to school for engineering. And I like left the engineering program because I realized that wasn't fulfilling me. So I knew I needed like a creative outlet in my life in order to be fulfilled. So that's like a big moment for me, and kind of like I realized, oh, my happiness comes before like other stuff in my life, like money or like status amongst other people, what they might think about me and stuff like that. So I knew that I would always be happier living at home pursuing what I wanted than like having a job living in the city, like more people my age, and not pursuing what I wanted full time.
Yeah. Somebody once said to Matt, like, if you're an actor who bartends on the side, you're not an actor, you're a bartender.
Yeah, I get that, but that's hard too, because you need to make a living.
Where you put your energy. You know? So this is what you're saying. It's like you made this sacrifice so that you could put all your energy toward becoming the thing you want to become. Yeah,
which was like, it was so weird because not only people that didn't do comedy didn't get that, but sometimes people that did do comedy didn't get how far I would go to get to the city to do it and then go home. There was almost like a judgment for that, and then you would second guess yourself, am I good enough to be like putting in all this time and like trying to figure this out? It's like a very weird feeling, and you kind of have to have this like this blind like arrogant ignorance about yourself to be like, I am, even when you're not, because you know there's something inside of you that
I
one
can
day
feel
could
it.
be.
I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm meant to succeed.
It's like a little seed, and you're like, it's gonna grow. I swear to God. And like, it's hard to convince people that, and it's hard to be like to sacrifice all that when you have literally nothing to show for it.
Yeah, well, and it can be challenging to keep that in mind yourself, or to stay connected to that.
Of course. And it was challenging. I would fantasize not living at home all the time. But then I like just didn't want to have to get a job, so I wouldn't have to like do comedy. I mean, I would have like little part-time jobs. I worked at the theater, or I like before that I like tutored a little bit, or until I was able to like not have to do that. And that was also a time when I first met you, Tyler, was when I was still living at home, and I would sleep at your boyfriend's house all the time. Yeah, all the time. And like Matt was so great about that. He like knew what I was doing, and like and like I don't think he cared, and we had a good time, and that was like such a safe haven for me to get away from my house for a little bit sometimes.
Good, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Well, so obviously you're doing all this back and forth, and you're putting so much energy into your comedy, and at that point, like, because really we have a couple of tales to weave together to understand this whole story. So I need to know how this romance between you and Lindsay unfolded when I know you weren't having a lot of time and energy to devote toward dating.
Oh my God, this is what I get asked for.
Well, you can't tell this story without telling that part of the story.
I know. Oh God, what did I agree to? Jesus.
I was texting Lindsay this morning, and or was that today? I don't know when it was, but I was like, "Did you know Sebastian's coming on?" She's like, "Should be a good listen."
Oh my God, she's awesome. I guess so. She does comedy stuff too, and I met her out. When I was doing comedy, I got a job working at a comedy theater in the city, and I would do like crowd control, or basically stand outside and let people go into the theater and go out, you know?
You're like a comedy bouncer.
Yeah. Definitely. I don't use the word bouncer because I don't want your audience to get an image of me. I swear I'm a nice man. I don't want them to think this is a horrible.
He's like a teddy bear.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy. And so I was working there, and she like came to come watch a show, and she couldn't get into the show because someone had a heart attack at the show, and she was late, so she was standing outside, and it was just me, her, and her friend, and she ended up like having to stand outside for the full hour, and we just like talked the whole time.
I don't think I've ever heard this story.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of because of the person like getting sick and have the ambulance having to come, she ended up having to stay and talk to me for a long time.
Wow.
I love this story.
I mean, the universe was really conspiring in your favor, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it really was.
And in her favor, too.
Oh, hell yeah, you better believe it. And then I think like a few days went by, and then like I sent her a Facebook message being like just like being weird, you know, and I was like, "Oh, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to this party tonight. Are you going to this party at this dude's house tonight?" And then she was like, "No, I wasn't invited." And I was like, oh, that's too bad. And then she goes, "Why don't you invite me?" And so then I did. And then,
wow, I like that. That's sexy. She doesn't fool around.
No, she told me what's good. And then I like remember I wasn't actually going to the party, and I had to like I know. I like took off work so I could at the theater to go to the party that night. And then the whole night I like, instead of like talking to her the whole time, I was like talking to other people and trying to seem cool.
Oh, no.
I talked to her a bunch, but then I made sure not to. I made sure I wanted to know.
You wanted to give her just enough.
Just a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just enough to get her interested.
Yeah, and then after that we just talked then nonstop till we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that happened pretty fast.
So now at that point you guys were dating and you were still living at home.
Yeah.
And what was that like?
That was actually pretty easy. That was like actually in a way like a nice thing, and that kind of that probably prevented me from moving out of my house earlier, because I guess I hit a point where I was kind of doing enough comedy stuff that I could have moved out, but I wanted to wait until it was us moving in together.
I love that. Ugh, I love this. Everything that's happening. I like haven't stopped smiling since we started recording.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it's like simple. It's nothing like unheard of, but it's just like it's nice. So I knew I hit a point where I was like, I'm doing okay enough with comedy stuff. I could move out, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't want to live just with a couple of other people. You know, I like wanted my next move to be like to a new home in a way.
Aw. That's a lot of big change all at one time, though. Like leaving the comfort of your home, which, like, I'm sure while it can be annoying to live at home, there's also some perks.
Oh, hell yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I got my good Staten Island mother, you know?
Exactly.
Food always in the fridge. Always. I would come home to, no matter what, there would be a plate in the fridge. There would be something for me to eat in the fridge. My laundry would get done. I wouldn't have to stress about anything.
That's pretty nice. So you were leaving that behind, and then you were about to move in with a significant other, which living with someone is such a big experience.
Yes, and I never did that before. So
right. Oh my God. So what were you feeling when you're like having all these, like, I'm leaving all this stuff that's comfortable, I'm going into this kind of uncomfortable new situation? Like, that's how I'm feeling right now as I think about it.
Sure. It's scary. It's like scary because it's a commitment to someone. It's also a leaving behind of a person of who you were. It's like saying I'm ready to be done with this part of my life and move on to the next part, which is sometimes like I look back and wish I like did the fun silly stuff I did when I was a kid, but then like I only wish that for a moment, which is nice. And I think that like everyone, it's not like bad to wish that for like a moment. I would never want to live that life again. I was totally like ready to move on past like that type of life. I was ready to like grow up a little bit, but it is like scary to like be like, okay, I'm done with that part of me, because like moving in with a person, like I also used to smoke weed a ton. And now I probably smoke weed not as much at all anymore, or really like drink as much, or like do anything like that, you know? There's something about like living with someone when you're both like are trying to grow as people. You actually, it's easier to like do better things for yourself.
Yeah, you support each other.
Yeah. So I don't like, when I lived at home with my parents, I would just go home and smoke weed at night and then watch TV and fall asleep. And just like eat crappy food, and like, because that's very easy to get in that routine, because what's stopping you, you know? And because sometimes it's hard to like, when it's just you alone, like you need to like, it's hard to self-care or like care about, sometimes you need someone else to like push you up a little bit. At least I know I do. And I definitely like when since moving in and like having that's definitely been a part of that situation, which has been amazing. Is like she helps me become a better me.
Oh gosh, this is
incredible.
Am I being honest enough for a boy?
Yes, you're doing a great job for a boy.
Shut up. Don't
Talking about your feelings. No, it's so great.
Yeah, and I also think that we were like both ready. I was staying over her house like 4 or 5 nights a week. So at a certain point, it's like I'm just stealing rent from her.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, buddy."
Yeah.
How did that like conversation unfold between you guys? Like, was it natural and organic, and it came up, and you were both ready, or was there some period of conversation in which you guys had to really feel into it?
Well, just like the Facebook messaging, she's pretty blunt. So I think at one point she's like, when you gotta move in, you know? And I like push, I like get shy, and it's like, I can't, I can't. And because money was always like a stress for me, and she was always like so respectful of like that. I wanted to be able to like support myself just through like teaching, like coaching improv and like doing acting stuff and comedy stuff, and not having to have a job. So I was like really waiting till that happened, till I was able to move out. And so I like pushed back, and then it sucks about this industry. There was, unless I had a regular job, there never would have been unless I got a regular job on a TV show, there never would have been a moment where I would have been financially secure. So at a certain point, I just had to do it.
Oh my gosh, this is really reminding me. Have you guys seen A Muppet Christmas Carol?
Of course.
No.
Of course.
So this is that story, that heartbreaking story of Ebenezer Scrooge when he has the girl that he's in love with.
Oh my god, the least favorite part of the movie.
Oh my god, that song is so sad. It's the song about when love is gone. Ugh, it's so sad. But that's the thing that you have just said that so eloquently, and now I'm resorting to the Muppets.
No, the Muppets are beautiful. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's
is
like
my
when
favorite Christmas Carol out of all the versions.
Me too. I love it so much.
I watch it every single year.
Me
After
too.
all, there's only one more sleep till Christmas.
That's the best part. That song, actually, I love that song so much.
Oh my god, I sing that on Christmas Eve as a grown man.
Me too. I always do. There's only one more sleep till Christmas. Sebastian, I didn't know we had this in common.
Of course we did. It makes sense.
But anyway, so there's this thing that I think we can do by default, which is to say, okay, as soon as I have this milestone, then I'll be happy. Like, then I'll do the thing that I truly want to do. That's like move out, or like in that case of the Muppet Christmas Carol, it was like, I'll marry the girl as soon as I hit this milestone. And I think it's often about being financially solvent.
Yeah,
if
money
we wait
is hard.
until we're financially solvent to live our lives, we may end up never living them.
I know. It's scary how much that runs stuff. Like, money is, you need it, and it like holds people back from doing things. Of actually making themselves happy.
It can. But you didn't let it.
No, 100%, and that's really why I lived at home. Because I wasn't going to let money, like, take away my, like, love for comedy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to let money, like, not let me move in here.
Exactly. Same thing in two different experiences. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and because I guess, like, I just realized I had an internship when I worked for, like, this engineering firm in college, and I, like, made decent money. And I just wasted my money on drugs. And, like, or, like, going out and partying. And, like, that, like, fucking sucked. It doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, you don't feel alive.
No. And I couldn't care less. I mean, like, I always want more, it's like some more money so I could do more fun stuff. But, like, that's the only reason why. It's not like I'm desperately like I wouldn't sacrifice my well-being for money at this point.
Yeah. While you were saying that, I was just thinking about how, like, for fun, we do stuff like go to Dallas barbecue, which is like so cheap and lowbrow.
I know, but you got it because it's not about going there; it's about hanging out.
Right.
Yeah, of course, and like, it's awesome. Like when I go see Matt, we usually do nothing. And that's like I went when I saw him last. I just went over your house, and we played video games.
The other night when I got so excited.
Yeah. The other night when you got so excited because both of us were like, "Oh yeah, we don't have a lot of money. Let's just chill," and that was honestly better than doing something big. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's just being present with the other person and enjoying being in their energy,
which you could do at any price point.
Yeah.
Or you could not do at any price point. You could be at the most expensive thing in the world and not be having a fun time.
Yeah.
Of course.
Solid choice.
Well,
I had a question come up, and I don't know if you're going to have a memory of this or not, but I'm going to trust myself and ask it. What is the, like, funniest... You know how, like, when something kind of bad happens, but it feels, like, silly or funny? Like somebody stubs their toe, or... Not that. Okay. I don't know why this is so complicated to say. But, like, I guess a mishap. What's the funniest or like most enjoyable mishap that you had either like in the process of moving in or in the process of working on the apartment together?
I would say it was probably when I told my mother I was moving out.
Oh, I'm nervous what you're going to
So
say. What did she say?
I go, so like, because we decided, and I like knew for a little bit, and I was like waiting to tell her because like, honestly, I'm a grown up, and it's like it's part of her business, but it's not her decision, right?
Yeah, your mom has a. How would you describe your mother briefly?
Extremely overbearing, manipulative with love.
She definitely loves you a lot.
She does, and I love her, but it's like she pulls you in to tell you what's wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we have a little bit of a feeling for your mom, continue with your story.
So I tell her, I can say, Ma, I'm moving in. I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna move in with Lindsay, and without like taking a breath, she goes, "No, you're not. No, you're not." I go, "What?" I literally start laughing. I go, "What do you mean, no, I'm not?" And she goes, "Absolutely not. You're living here." And then I go, "Mom, this is not a discussion. I'm telling you." And she goes, "We're not talking about this." And then like we didn't talk about it. And then later she called me and she goes, "I'm going to take you to IKEA. We're going to get you some new furniture."
Oh, Mom.
So she just needed her moments to process it, what's going on.
That's so sweet, though.
Yeah, she just couldn't handle it.
She's like, no, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. It was just because I was the last one that lived at home.
Yeah.
So now it's just her and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's probably I have to also like remember this, and I really didn't think about this till now. Well, it's like me leaving, I was like closing the door on one chapter of my life, but like by me doing that, I was closing a door on a chapter of their life too.
Mm-hmm.
A chapter which I'm sure they've loved so much, like raising you guys.
I'm sure that was like, that was their life.
Mm-hmm.
In like a beautiful way. It was like the family. And so like I'm sure that's like hard, and like it's everyone's heard like when like the kids leave, they like married couples find each other again. So they love each other, which is very nice. I have like a good example of that stuff, but I'm sure they had to like find their footing again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your relationship with one or both of them has shifted since you moved out?
Yeah, it's gotten better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because it's more I like created more boundaries and like barriers, and like set up like this can't be, and like our relationship isn't about like it's not as much of mundane like day-to-day stuff. It's more about like bigger stuff, so you get to enjoy each other more. Dealing with day-to-day stuff with someone is hard. In a way.
How did you learn how to set boundaries?
I guess through like wanting to set boundaries for years.
Yeah.
Literally for like me talking about my mother to everyone, and everyone going, "Jesus Christ." And me just knowing I had to. Literally like, and my dad like just being like, you just gotta tell your mother she can't do that.
And so finally one day you were like, all right, I'm doing it.
Well, it's not
From
like
now
I didn't.
on,
It's
I'm
not
having
like I
boundaries.
didn't tell her that a ton in the past. It was that finally, I guess she realized that, like, she wasn't gonna have access to me all the time. Like, no matter what, at the end of the day, she would have seen me, or I would have been in her house, so she could do whatever she wanted. Then, right? All of a sudden, it was like, not. This is weird to say, but it was like a choice for us to talk to each other.
Yeah, it was internally you really shifted.
Yeah, Yeah, so it was like, all of a sudden it became a relationship that she couldn't just say whatever she wanted to. It was something that she knew that she needed to give and pull. And I also like being in a relationship with a person that you love. Like, you end up learning how to communicate your feelings better with people. And like, I think that the one thing that I think I regress back to a different person when I'm around them, I used to, at least. And like, I didn't like that, especially around like Lindsay, who knew me as this other like adult person, like a person with confidence who like was focused on their career and like was loving and was fun and like would joke around a lot, and I would regress back when I would see them. And so at a certain point, I guess I noticed that I would do that, especially when you feel both sides of you in a room when you're with her and your family. So then you're able to kind of be like, oh, I feel how I'm two people. And I think we're all multiple people, but like sometimes I have to remember, oh, I closed the door on that part of my life. I'm like moving forward. I officially have to do that, not only by physically moving out, but by how I'm behaving with them.
You are like striking such a chord with me right now. You're putting words to something that Matt and I have also been through. But it got to a point where instead of just letting it be okay that sometimes we're two people, and I could see him regress a little bit sometimes in certain situations, I got to a point where I started throwing a tantrum and like demanding that he start being all of himself all the time.
Yeah, and
because hearing you describe it, it's like like what you've just said is exactly the same thing, and it's just so interesting because you and I are like close, but we haven't ever talked about this really.
No, we never talked about this, and I also, I do think that sometimes people bring other sides out of you which aren't bad.
Yeah. Like yeah.
But the side of me that was coming out was bad.
Well, it's like talking, not even bad, but like talking about things that are no longer truly in alignment with who you are. That's what it feels like when we talk about like quote unquote regression. It's like slipping into old patterns that don't actually reflect the person that you are today.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's interesting because, sorry about that, Lindsay walked in the room. Oh my god, I was like, get the fuck out of here. No,
I love it when someone's just talking and all of a sudden they hit mute. You're like, hello, where did she go?
Clearly something happened. She's leaving for work, so she had to grab something. What was that? Oh, what was I gonna say? What were you just talking about? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
You were talking about regressing into old past into old.
Oh yeah, slipping into old like default patterns.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes you need someone else to point that out for you that you're doing that. And I sometimes like you want to grow out of that, and that's like good because you are never the person you were like a while ago. That influences who you are now, but you are not that person anymore. And so you don't want to like regress into those modes. And I think it's just from like trained behavior. Oh, when I'm around this person, this is how I act. So even before you actually like are able to react as yourself in the moment, you go, oh, this is what's happening. This is what I do when this is happening. So I was like feeling that with my mother, and I'm sure Matt was feeling that with whatever situation that was, you know? So like, I mean, and that's just something that like you have to work on. And I think like being with someone that's open and honest with me and like we talk about that stuff helped me to like grow into that. And it's so nice because like seeing my family is like really nice now.
Yeah. It's so interesting because first you have to become aware of the pattern or the habit. And sometimes you do need somebody else to help you do that. But once you're aware of it, I feel like it shifts on its own, which is great. But
it hurts. To become aware.
Yeah.
That's not like a fun thing to be like, oh, I do this thing wrong. But like, I think what makes great people is not the ability not to be wrong ever. It's the ability to admit that they're wrong. Because once you like admit that you're wrong, that's when you actually are able to like grow and change out of that.
And there's even like a further shift that you can make in the way you approach things, where it's like, not only am I like willing to be proven wrong, but I'm kind of looking to be proven wrong. Like I'm constantly looking around to see like, how might I do this better?
Yeah, and that's what growing is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like, oh, I've been doing this for a while. What can I improve? It's
Mm-hmm.
improvement. And I think like what's hard is people don't want to feel that moment of like, I'm not perfect or I'm not doing everything right.
I feel that moment all the time.
Yeah.
But it's more like, all right, I'm not perfect. It's okay. I'm not perfect.
Well, I think the more that you feel it, you probably are comfortable with failure.
Yeah.
And failure is what grows, like helps you grow.
Mm-hmm.
Like just through doing comedy, I had to fail constantly.
Yeah.
And it's like public failure. It's not, it's like one of the only art forms that you can't fail. Like a piano player could fail in their house for years. But
mm-hmm.
like for a comedy person, especially like when you're performing, your only option to do it is in front of people. So I like, in a great way, I think I've learned how to like fail in order to grow at something.
I have a question for you about that.
Yeah.
Did you feel like because you kind of had that experience in comedy that it was easier to be willing to fail inside your relationship? Because I feel like it's the same thing where it's like you have to be willing to like admit that you're wrong and want to do it better in order to have a relationship as successful as the one you're having.
Sure. I mean, I think that both of us are involved in comedy, so both of us are able to like listen to each other and like admit when we're wrong, and both of our like concerns are literally like how the other person is feeling, you know, and like making sure like, oh wait, what I did affected you. Let me figure out how not to do that to affect you in that way again. We always like, we know that we're going to have problems and issues forever, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting because it feels like you got a lot of these tools from being involved in comedy, and that's such a cool thing.
Yeah, well, I think I got a lot of these tools from like, I think it could come from anything, but I think it comes from something that you have a passion for, that you like try and try and try, no matter what happens in front of you. And I think that that's like, it's just about like being okay with like loving something greater than yourself in a way, like putting it before you. And in a lot of senses, I did that with comedy consistently. Besides like living at home and stuff like that, all my nights would be taken, so I like wasn't able to hang out a lot and do stuff like that. And so I was constantly putting comedy a little bit before like other parts of my life. So I learned how to like build something up and grow something, which is like a great skill to go from like a novice to someone that's like, okay, it's like is knowledgeable, you know? I think that's like something that people should learn how to do in their life. And usually people like kind of sort of do that, I guess, with their college career, but I feel like people just kind of land in a career.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have no idea what people... I could be further away from that shit.
Yeah, no, I feel all that.
So what was it like for you? Because I know what I felt like moving in with someone. Because also when I like, your relationship changed when you move in with somebody, you know? In like a great way, in a way that makes you closer, but in a way that you like have to make adjustments. But for you already lived with Matt when you guys started dating.
Mm-hmm.
So that must have, like, you didn't have that experience then.
No, we already knew how to live together, but we didn't know how to be in a relationship. So while most people have to make the adjustment of learning how to live together, we had to make the adjustment of learning how to be in a relationship with each other. And that was challenging because we went from 0 to 60, basically, you know?
Yeah.
We were close friends who were secretly emotionally involved until, you know, we slept together, and then we were just together. And we've been together ever since. So it was actually really challenging, and it's like we were having the same conversations that you would have, like, you never put the toilet paper roll back on, and it drives me crazy, might be something that would come up when you move in with someone. but instead it would be like deeper things, like how do we navigate when we do and don't want to spend time together without hurting each other's feelings because we live in the same space.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's hard. I mean, we had to have that discussion too.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think when you move in with somebody, all of a sudden your lives become one more, and then you go, wait, I want to still have my own stuff too.
Yeah. And maybe what happened with us is that we just, I guess, maybe the little stuff like the toilet paper can kind of be a distraction from the bigger, more emotional questions. And it's like we didn't have any of those distractions because we already knew how it worked to live together. So we immediately had to get into really big emotional conversations, which I think ultimately is part of what has made our relationship so strong.
Sure, it's usually the hard stuff that like brings you closer together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had to learn the little shit too. Please, I am a fucking disaster when it comes to living.
What do you do that drives Lindsay crazy?
Well, I'm like slowly learning. Well, right now, the big thing that she fucking hates, I'm like whispering, even though she's out of the house. And she can't like just listen to this or whatever, but I'll whisper it in case she can't hear it.
Lindsay, if you're listening, plug your ears.
Yeah, don't listen to this, Linz. What drives her crazy is like, so on my side of the bed, I put like a pair of jeans and my sweatshirt next to my bed, so they'll be like, and my shoes. So next to my bed, there'll be like a small pile of stuff. And she hates that. She can't stand it.
Why?
Because she just likes the room to look neat.
Mm-hmm.
She's not like flipping out about it.
Is it a neat pile or is it all just like thrown there?
No, it's totally my fault. It's a disaster. I really undersold it when it's probably right now, it's probably a jacket, 2 sweatshirts, 2 pairs of jeans, and 2 shoes.
See, I like how you frame it. Like, you're like, it makes it sound like the way you paint the picture. This is what I saw. It's like a pair of shoes laid neatly, and then like a pair of pants very neatly folded on top of the shoes with like a pair of underwear, so that when you go to get dressed, you can just like daintily put your clothes on, and then not like a heaping pile of clothing in the floor.
Yeah. It's hard to walk to my side of the bed. So
Justin has like a pile of clothes on his side of the bed, which like I'm always like, how do you sleep? Like,
he sleeps with it on the bed?
No, it's on. Oh, your boyfriend does that?
Yeah.
Really?
It's
wow.
I'm like, how does this work? I mean, I can put like 1 or 2 things at the foot of the bed, but it's fine. I can still move around. He'll have like an entire pile of clothes.
Oh my God.
For like all of the clothes that he's worn throughout the course of the week will be on the bed. Well,
I guess the big
Sally,
question
this doesn't bother you?
Well, it's fine. It's just like I just get confused. I'm like, how does this work? Also, because I'm like, we have a chair in the bedroom, so like my thing is always like, well, I'll just put my clothes on the chair. I don't put it on the bed. I don't know.
Do you guys live together?
Yeah.
I have a question for everybody.
Great.
This is a round robin.
Oh my God.
Is there any like snack that you only really eat when the other person's not around?
Yeah. It's not even a snack.
What is it?
It's regatta.
What?
Ricotta cheese.
Just on its own?
Yeah. I'll just go in the kitchen, I'll take a spoonful of that shit.
Like bite a spoonful? Oh my God, that's funny.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed, and I feel like it's kind of gross to eat that. So I do it when she's not around. Sometimes I'll oh my God, I've even had it with like parsnip chips.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, just like a little cheese on the, like putting a little dollop on the cheese. Oh my God. What do you have, Sally?
I think I usually have ice cream when he's not around, or maybe I'll like drink wine because he doesn't drink and he doesn't eat ice cream. So I feel like they're just like not things that he enjoys. So I don't really do it when he's around. I mean, I don't not do it when he's around. There's plenty of times that I've had wine or ice cream when he's around, but I tend to do it if it's like the middle of the afternoon and he's not going to be home for a bit, then I'm like, this is a great time to have some ice cream or some wine.
That's so funny. Drinking wine and eating ice cream are two of mine and Matt's like main activities together that we do together. Oh boy. Well, mine's graham crackers with peanut butter.
Oh, that's not bad.
Why don't you have that with him?
I don't know. I just don't ever really think of it when he's around. It's not like I'm trying to hide it. It's just something I only eat when I'm alone.
I mean, that seems really tasty. I feel like he wouldn't want to partake in that.
I mean, he might.
Yeah, I think he definitely would. I feel bad because both of yours were so nice and sweet, and mine was just soft cheese.
No, the other thing that I do,
cheese I admitted to eating.
When Matt's not around, I'll just have cheese and crackers for dinner. Like,
oh please,
at least one out of every 2 times that Matt's not around and I have to feed myself, it's just eat cheese and crackers.
If I have if there are cookies around, but Justin yells at me about this all the time, I'll just have those for breakfast because if he's not here to make me eggs and chorizo, I'm like, well, there's this bag of cookies here. Just gonna have some cookies for breakfast.
Well, that is another nice thing about living with somebody. You end up cooking better things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You end up making good meals together and eating healthier stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So true.
Which is really nice. Because when she's not around, I could eat whatever I want. I guess I can when she's around.
That was so funny.
I just mean it's not oh, I know that she likes asparagus, so let's eat. She'll want lettuce or something, and I'll be all right, well, I'll eat lettuce. It's it feels easier to go with that flow than just be oh, let's eat this.
Yeah, I mean, if I still lived alone, I would just eat mac and cheese and rice-a-roni every day. Because I'd be oh, it's very tasty and it's easy to make. And Justin's oh, I got this chicken. I was thinking that we could do this and that. And we haven't made this in a while. And I pulled the shrimp out of the freezer. So let's have shrimp tonight. All right, well, I guess I'm not having mac and cheese and rice-a-roni.
That's how Matt is too.
Oh, Matt's such a good cook.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
All right, I have 2, I don't know. I have 2 more questions that I know of. One is, what has been the most challenging thing since you and Lindsay have moved in together?
Probably what you were talking about, finding space and time for yourself. Mm-hmm. Finding your own making sure that you take care of yourself and get your own you time and stuff like that. And it's because it's kind of hard. We both do comedy, so I see her we're both entrenched in the same world and stuff like that. So it's not we leave. We don't have day jobs, so neither of us get up and leave the house and wait all day to see each other at nighttime. We could, if we both have a slow week, we could spend the whole week together. Mm-hmm. So that's just, and how I think we've gotten better at that is just through communicating with each other about that. Being oh, I would love I need to have me time, and there's little stuff I have a video game system now, so she knows I think if I'm rocking out that oh, Sebastian's rocking out, And,
let him do his thing.
Yeah, and she watches she watches Vanderpump Rules and The Housewives, and I go, oh, she's watching those shows. Funny. I'm gonna go chill inside and let her be, Mm-hmm. So we kind of learned that, and also then I also we both try to get out of the house and see people, Mm-hmm. So which is nice.
But, so funny. I'm realizing how similar y'all's life is to mine and Matt's life.
I know. I know. And it's because we're both home all the time. Not all the time, but we can be home more than the average person that works a 9 to 5.
That's so funny. All 3 of us are in couples where we both don't have 9 to 5.
Hey, look at that coincidence.
That's funny.
I mean, of course we are. We're recording a podcast at 4 o'clock on a Monday.
Of course, all of us don't have traditional job structures. So funny. What was my other question going to be?
I don't know. You didn't get
it was going to be... What is your favorite memory of this last year, you and Lindsay living together?
From the whole year?
Yeah, when you look back and you're like, what is the one time where I felt the absolute happiest, like I could just die?
This is hard because there's a lot of memories that make me feel different things. Like, there's different happinesses, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of times when if I have to leave before her, and I get up and she's sleeping, and I, like, give her a kiss and I leave, that just feels so nice.
Mm.
It's just like, it makes you feel like, I can't put a word to it, you know what I mean? It's just, like, sad to leave, but knowing that something is here always or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like, not even, like, a moment. That's just, like,
it's just a feeling.
Yeah, and that's something that I guess I never really experienced. And there was, like, there was a few weeks where I was working, and actually, like, 2 months I was working, like, very early pretty often, so I was, like, having to do that. So, and I would get to feel that every day, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
The word that is coming through for me is safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, like, hard because as like a man, you don't want, especially with traditional, like, outlooks on, like, on gender norms and relationships, a man shouldn't feel safety in a woman like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I do.
Well, I think that's exactly what it's really supposed to feel like.
Of course. Yeah. And I think that all that's baloney that when people don't allow themselves to feel that, like, I lean on you and you lean on me. It should be equal. Like, not always equal, but it should be, like, sharing of responsibilities and feelings and emotional, like, balances. Because I'm emotional as fuck. Please, I cry constantly.
Oh my goodness. I bet you guys laugh a lot too, though.
All the time. All the time. She loves that. She says that to me sometimes. She goes,
says what?
I'm so happy that I get to laugh my whole life with you, or something like that.
Aww.
This is the best.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and she always goes, no one has any idea how much we laugh. Because I'm so fucking funny when it's just me and her.
You know what? Matt, too. I always tell Matt, I'm like, you could be the most successful comedian in the whole world. You're so funny.
Of course. Well, you're just invested in what the other person's doing, so that's why you end up being so funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just feels so much love right now.
That's good. I know. It's nice.
Matt has the best friends.
I know, it's true. Matt does have the best friends.
I know. It's so funny because I've, like, lost touch with so many friends from Staten Island. But Matt is, like, someone that I will never lose touch with.
You want to know something really cute?
What?
Hang on, let me feel in and make sure I feel okay to share this. I think it's okay. I'll ask him, and if he says no, we'll cut it out before this airs. But okay. The other night after you left, or, like, I don't know when it was, but it was either then, like, that night when Matt came to bed or the next morning after you left, and I asked Matt what he was grateful for from the day. And he thought about it for a second, and the thing he said was that you and I both had his headshot as our screensaver on our phones.
Yeah.
And he was like, that made me feel really good.
Of course.
So.
I love that. Cute. He's not going to be embarrassed that you said that.
I don't know. He's learning to open up more and more, but I think that.
Of course.
You know, he's, I'm forcing him to talk about his feelings a lot more.
You have to remember the worlds that we're from isn't about, like, opening and saying your feelings.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you know.
If there's one thing I know to be true, it's that.
Yeah.
But that's true for all of us, I think.
Yes, and that's why I think him and I get along so well, is because we want to, in some ways, like, break through that world a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh. Sally, we keep doing that exactly the same time.
I know, it's great.
I know, Sebastian's going to start joining in. All right, so, Sebastian, close your eyes.
Okay.
And think back on the last year of your life, starting with that day when you moved out of your mom's house and the process of moving in, everything that's happened between you and Lindsay, everything that's happened in both of your worlds outside the home, and how you've gotten to share that as a result of living together. And as you feel into all that, share with us in one word how you're feeling now.
Like, satisfied. I feel full, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was waiting for something, and it happened, and it was everything I guess I hoped it would be. It was hard, but like, as we said before, like, knowing that you're doing things wrong and like things that are hard, as long as you're open to like why they're hard, or like adjusting to like make them better, hard things are good. So like, but I feel like it was great. It's good.
Oh, I love all that so much. So the last question is, if you could speak to yourself a year ago today from the person that you are now, what would you say to him?
Relax. Relax. I mean, I would still say that to me now. And I try to.
I feel like that's the most important message for all of us all the time. Just relax.
Yeah, just take a breath. It's like everything's going to keep on moving forward and be all right.
Yes. Sally, do you have anything else? You've been so quiet.
No, I don't have anything. I'm just happy.
You're just soaking it in?
Yeah.
All right, so Sebastian, if anyone that's listening would like to find you on the internet or see any clips of you anywhere or any of those things, how would they locate you?
Cool. Well, I don't have Twitter or Instagram because my personal life's mine. That's like a conversation I've had with many people.
That's a great reason.
Yeah, I like refuse to get them. If you want, you can check out ucb.com. There's like a listing of all of my upcoming shows coming up. So I perform every Friday night at 10:30 at UCB Chelsea, or Friday at 8:30 at the Magnet Theater. Then I also have shows randomly throughout, which is listed on those websites. Also, you could Google me, and a bunch of videos will come up if you want to watch videos of me, Sebastian Canelli.
Some of them are even filmed in my apartment, Matt's in some of them.
Oh my god, yeah, you gotta check them out.
Yeah, so now if you want to go see Sebastian and Matt being funny together.
Hell yeah, you gotta check those out.
All right, thanks so much for talking to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye.
I'll talk to you later.
So funny.
I'll see you tomorrow, all right?
Oh my goodness. Sally, where can people find you on the internet?
People can find me at Sally Simply on all social media, or at SallyMercedes.com. What about you?
I'm at TylaFowler.com and Tyla Fowler on all the social media. And you can find our podcast a year ago today, everywhere under the handle A Year Ago Podcast, including our email, which is ayearagopodcast@gmail.com.
And if you like our intro-outro music, you can follow Zina Hell, ZYNAHEL, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud.
Hooray!
We did it, all the things. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. You rock, and we love all of you.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, is that it?
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Peace out.